Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guests tonight are Michael Tivey, Jeffrey Allen Love, and Chris Condon, the team behind the upcoming book News from the Fallout, which I just finished reading issue three. And Jeff, do you like to go by Jeff or Jeffrey?
Jeff's fine.
No. Okay, so Jeff, your art is mesmerizing. I just found myself. I don't know how you came up with doing the like silhouette style, but you made it work in a way that I wouldn't have expected. So thank you, and that's very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting because I developed that doing covers and like posters and single images, and then I sort of painted myself into a corner doing comics where I'm doing a cover for every panel, and I wish that I I just keep thinking, oh, it'd be so easier to just draw this instead of painting it.
Right.
But it's resulted in a really, I think, unique look for the comic and something that works really well with it. So it was so it's a really cool experience to, and I was you know uh terrified of what the reception would be, if people would get what we were doing and if the storytelling would be clear. So I'm always very happy to hear that people are enjoying and can read the story and that
Yeah,
it's a good
I
collaboration.
am definitely. I'm gonna have to go through it some more. It's striking on multiple levels, and don't tell that Condon guy, but I read his words less than I normally do because I was normally I'm like words and then pictures, and this time I was like, what is going on? Oh, okay, okay. Oh yeah, I gotta read the dialogue.
Cool.
Um, so Chris, you want to give us the front counter pitch now that you're allowed to listen again?
Um, it's basically I like to call it apocalyptic Americana. It's about a nuclear test that goes awry at a secret army base in southern Nevada, and the one survivor from that army base flees and tries to find a safe haven. And the question is, does a safe haven exist?
Is always a question. Um, like God, yeah. I'm often more prepared for this, but I like have so many questions swirling around in my head that I'm not putting them in the right order. Because the other thing, you guys just launched your News from the Fallout website slash maze interactive experience, etc. So like, Michael and Chris have been having fun with that, and I fell down the rabbit hole hard. Um, and had the line to cheat sometimes. But talk to me about where that came from, how you envision the whole thing fitting together.
Well, the idea of just doing a website, I always loved growing up those J.J. Abrams sort of uh
tie-in.
yeah, like they were like viral websites, things like that. I always loved things like that growing up, and they don't really do those sorts of things anymore. They don't tend to do viral marketing in that sort of way anymore, at least not often. And I felt like this was such an opportunity for us, especially with the kind of story that we were telling. Um, and I haven't seen anything like this with a comic um, in a very long time. So I thought it'd be an interesting way to attract new readers, to give them an immersive experience outside of the comic. Um, to give them a chance to interact with the world that we're building in the comic, um, and also deliver information about the comic to people. So there is information in there about the comic, about each issue, release dates, uh, URLs that lead you to the actual image site with information about each issue, um, information about each creator. And then also there's tons of little goodies for people to find if they want to find them. And I'll let Mike talk a little bit more about that too.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of it. I mean I'm a big fan of immersive storytelling. And I find post-COVID entertainment has we're in this weird shift where movies aren't the same way they were anymore. You know, people are home streaming things. So like what is a good way to hook people in? And I think through like immersive storytelling, is the way to go. Like on Broadway, they have things like Sleep No More or the upcoming Phantom of the Opera Masquerade show that's coming out. And in comics, we're doing this, right? So you read the comic, you're invested. You look at the back matter, you're further invested. You go on the website, you start feeling like you're a part of this world, that Chris and Jeffrey have been building up. And down to like phone numbers that you'll see in the comic or on the website. There's something in every corner of the book and on the website. So I think it's just a way
But
to stand out and a way to really feel, that you're further
the
connected with the
phone
story.
number was cool.
I
I
think
may
Yeah,
have called it.
I think another thing is just remembering that this is fun,
Yeah.
that what we do is fun, and that we are having fun as a team, and that we are a team, and we're building something together, and that comics are fun, stories are fun,
Yeah.
art is fun. Like it's not this, like super serious thing. Like we, for my money, I'm with David Mamet, the old David Mamet, not the new David Mamet, but the old David Mamet. That we go to see stories, we go to see movies, we experience art to lose ourselves in them, to like to be free of our mortal body, to lose the worries of the day. And the way you do that is have fun, like read a cool story, look at some cool art, listen to a band you love, and for me, like that's a big part of this experience is that it's just fun. We're just a bunch of guys like having fun making something together, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So, how did this come together? Because I mean, I'm going through Jeff's website now because like I should have looked up more about him ahead of time rather than just doing it on the spot. But um, I mean, it looks like you've done graphic novels of your own,
I have
but
I do have graphic novels, but I view them as they're my art films. They're my European, Janus Films, Criterion sort of
okay.
stuff. They're not rock and roll. They're not three act structure. They're very much ambient music. They're
Well, I okay, that makes sense. I mean, I was asking mostly because as I look at what you have available, like when you get into the comic section, I'm seeing all covers. So, what I mean, because you already talked about how doing each panel as a painting was kind of a pain in the neck. What attracted you to um this project to do a sequential work and again to knock it out of the park with a sequential work, um,
I
which is
I
kind of a different beast from a cover.
Yeah, I was going to go to the Joe Kubert School and be like a comic book guy in my 20s, and I was in a band, and we were signed to a record deal. So I thought, well, this won't come along again, so I'm going to do that. And that sort of took me away from probably I would have been a very house style Marvel or DC sort of artist if I had gone to the Kubert School. And so being a musician and then being self-taught and the way that I went made my art very different. And so when I came to um, doing my own stories, they were very influenced by European comics and South American comics and things like that. So um, I had the education for the artistic side, but not the structure of good storytelling. And so when I made these books and they've been somewhat successful, but I was missing telling a story that affected people like the books that I loved. And so I want that to be what's happening next in my artistic career. And so I loved Chris's work in that Texas Blood, and I basically said, I love your work, and if you want to collaborate on something, like, let's talk about it. And over, I don't know when we first started talking, but probably a
It's a
couple of
couple of
years.
years.
Yeah, a couple of years of, you know, talking about things and trying things out, and then this just sort of happened. So it's sort of like, people are seeing the tip of the iceberg, but there's been a lot of behind the scenes stuff that has led us to this moment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've been talking for a couple years. When did you start on the project itself?
Well, so Jeff did a cover for that Texas Blood issue
That
20,
I knew. Yeah.
and that was really where we first started conversing. And at that point, it may have been then. It may have been that after that that Jeff had reached out to me and said he was looking to do something in the direct market, or that he would love to do something in the direct market and single issues. And um, I thought that was a great idea. I loved his style. I thought that was really interesting, really different, something that you don't typically see in the direct market. And so we just, I just kept that in mind and tried to find the right project, and tried to get him on a few projects elsewhere at different publishers, and we were just having a hard time having people see what we saw in Jeff's work, because his stuff is very different from what is typically on the shelves.
Right.
Um, but I think that that is a bonus for us, rather than a detriment.
Oh,
And
it works for
I
this
feel like
story.
it was a
Eh,
it was a hill that they weren't willing to climb with us, and luckily we finally just said, you know what? Because the real truth of it is that we were trying to get page rate, and at the end of the day, we just couldn't get anybody willing to shell out for it. So we went
Right.
to Image and we just said, look, we want to make interesting books, and you make interesting books. Would you like to have a book with us? And that was Image said yes immediately. Eric Stevenson is nothing if not a brilliant art seeker, and he immediately latched on to News in the Fallout and Jeff's work, and saw the merit of it, and saw how different, unique, and just frankly awesome Jeff's work is.
Um, I talked to lots of artists about acting with their characters through body language, through facial expression,
Mhm.
etc. And you are a master. I mean, the emotion portrayed by your characters is outstanding, and I still can't figure out how because 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 it's silhouetted, because I mean, I'm just looking at issue one where half of it is a character that still has a mask on, so we don't even have the features in this. I mean, um talk to me about how you, I mean, first talk to me about how you work, period, because um and my wife would probably look at this and immediately tell me what happened, but I'm not the art brain. And this looks like different types of art, or a different type of art. I'm used to people who will tell me that, okay, I either did my digital background and then I did sketches on it or whatnot, or I started with the loose pencils, thumbnails. I
Yeah.
can't figure out your process, Jeff.
Sure. So I get to
And I
speak from
love
this.
that.
Yeah.
Please take that as a compliment.
I do actually. I love that too. It's because my process was, like, I'd look at artists that I loved and would be like, how can I accomplish that? But I had no idea how they did it. And I love printmaking, so I would do things like, but I couldn't afford a press. So that's kind of like the seed of like my style, is that I love printmaking, I love the textures of it, but I couldn't afford a press. So I tried all sorts of things of like inking up plates, but then I would put a piece of plywood on top of it, and then run over it with my car to see if I could, if that would work. So it's really like just experimenting for years and making tons of bad art. But the process for this is that Chris sends me the script and I read it through as like a reader first to enjoy it, and then I'll do the dumbest possible page ever, to where I just do like a panel. They're all square of like what's the dumbest solution for this panel, and that just gives me something to work with. And then I just refine it from there. And I think when you're talking about the acting, it's kind of like I think of comics and in art in general is kind of like a stage play where the actors who ham it up with their face, you're like, knock it off. Like I don't need to see like all this like, goofy stuff in your face, but it's the same idea that you can recognize your friend from 2 blocks away just by their body language, and so it can be, you don't need like the eyebrow going big and all this like stuff happening in the face to like get across the emotion of it. It really can be very subtle micro movements in the silhouette. And so you can really tell a story without thinking, oh, I need to like have the mouth do this or the eyebrows do this.
I'm already a fan of like the subtle facial expressions, but like the idea that you can even get rid of the subtle facial expressions
Right.
and
Yeah.
do it with the minute
But it just really shows you that, like we are
just
very, very, it's very
eh,
primal, very like cave painting-y. And that actually the best description of my art ever was by the Pineys, Wendy and Richard Piney that do ElfQuest. They saw my work and they thought that it's the Lascaux cave paintings meets Richard Drouillet, the French heavy metal artist. I thought,
yeah.
that no one's ever going to say it better than that. Like cave,
No,
cave,
I'll take
cave
that.
paintings plus 1970s heavy metal. Awesome. You got
I
it.
met them at C2E2.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
They
So
are.
so it's really just storytelling. Like if you get a strong silhouette, a strong composition. I'm really heavily influenced by war films, so Touch of Evil, things like that. If you really get a strong composition within it, then you can get away with murder in terms of technique. As long as the composition is there, you can just do anything. And that's where I'm influenced by my children's, like, preschool art projects, where it's like they bring something home and I'm like, oh my God, how did you make that? Oh, we like filled a plastic bag full of ink and then we put paper in it and we smashed it with our feet. Oh, I'm gonna try that. It's like, how cool is that? So it's again, 20 years of making bad art, and then it just all sort of came together in the last
Okay.
couple of years.
Um, and I promise we're gonna get to Michael again at some point. But my next question, like the person involved is the one person probably not here. Um, the the lettering is fantastic. Not just the word balloons though, the sound effects, and the sound effects are done in such a way that they almost look like they would have had to be done by you, Jeff, but I know his Hassan and I know his capabilities, so I don't want to guarantee that. So who's doing the sound effects? That's the question here.
I'll let Chris handle this one.
Haas is probably the best letterer in the business, and he came into this. No, he had done a short story with Jeff, with uh, Van Jensen, I believe.
Darcy Van Polgeist, the
Oh,
lover.
okay, okay. Okay, so he had done that, and so he had kind of worked with Jeff already, and so he already had come up with a style that worked with Jeff's
Yeah.
style. And I knew that he has such a brilliant, just a brilliant way of intuiting how to incorporate the letters into the artwork, that it really does become a piece with the artwork as well. It doesn't sit on top of it, it interacts with it.
Yeah.
And the way that we are telling the story, I mean, there's no narration, there's no captions, this is all just dialogue and visuals, and it was important that those um that the lettering be a part of it. And so yeah, Haas is just he's the best.
Well, and I appreciate that Jeff already mentioned that he does printmaking because my wife also does printmaking. So like as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm seeing. Um, it definitely has that feel of a printed, but then I mean what sticks out to me about the sound effects is it's almost like they're scratched off to get to the white underneath.
Hmm.
Um,
That's interesting.
which made me like on one side again, if there's anybody in the business who would know how to make it look like that, and this is no offense to Clayton and no offense to Becca, we've got so many great letterers working right now. It would be Haas
Yeah.
because he looks
No,
at lettering in a completely different way.
yeah, he really
Um,
does. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
it
really
looks like
fortunate. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it looks like a monotype, right? Like for me, if
Hmm.
you're familiar with
Yeah,
printing, it looks like a
absolutely.
monotype, and it melds with the sensibility of the artwork instead of just being a sort of sticker pasted on the top, which is
right, right. Um, so at, I'm going to ask the oddball question just because I love both the menu at the back of issue one and um, the prices on the menu look wonderful. So my oddball question is who designed the menu?
That would be me.
That I was guessing that we
Yeah.
were going to get Michael involved. Hey, good job. Well done. I
Thank you.
love the
Thank you.
coffee stain.
Thank you.
And second, what's everybody ordering?
Oh, I'm getting the rum ham for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's one of the lunch specials.
Yeah, we put an It's Always Sunny reference into.
I think it's
So
Joe's
so
rum ham,
the
the
rum
lunch
ham. So
special.
you can only go on Saturday.
We
Yeah,
worked in
yeah,
some
yeah.
really
Saturday.
weird references. There's an audio thing on the website, which I'm not sure if we should reveal what this is, but
No, we can totally reveal what this sound. Are you talking about the
it's
grape lady?
it sounds like we wanted it to sound like the creatures, the rotten that are in the book.
Right.
And what we decided to use as the basis for that was a classic YouTube video of a newscaster smashing grapes with her feet, and then she falls out of the barrel. And so we just took the audio of that video and slowed it down.
We just turned it right the way down. So yeah, it's frightening.
And so when you listen to this audio piece, all you hear is this woman going, "Oh, oh, oh,
Yep.
oh."
So I do have an important question before other people give me their orders. Actually two of them, three of them. The first is sourdough hotcakes. Actually sound pretty good, but I didn't know that was a thing that like existed.
We did
Second,
have to
has anybody?
study some old menus in
Yeah,
order to do
Okay,
this. Yeah. So
we
we
yeah.
sat
pulled
there and
those.
looked at old menus.
Yep. Yeah.
Deviled egg sandwiches. I know
Old,
deviled
old.
eggs. I've never
It's just an
considered
egg
them.
salad
Well, I mean,
sandwich.
it's like egg salad,
Yeah.
essentially.
Okay, okay. And you can get a lettuce and tomato sandwich, or you can get a bacon and tomato sandwich, but you
Hmm.
can't get a BLT.
That's right. Have you ever seen Five Easy Pieces?
Not in a long time.
I want you to
Well,
hold it between your knees.
yeah, very similar. Uh,
Okay. So, yeah, I need everybody else's order. We got the one for Joe's rum ham.
Oh God, I don't have the menu in front of me. Um,
I mean, I can probably share it on
but
screen.
I yeah, I'm a Southern guy, so it's always biscuits and gravy for me.
I think biscuits
I
and
Okay.
gravy are on.
but yeah, biscuits and gravy are absolutely on that menu,
All right,
if I'm
so
not
I'd
mistaken.
probably just do the hamburger.
yeah,
Yeah.
simple men, simple pleasures.
Even with the smothered onions. I don't know about the smothered onions.
I think with the smothered onions. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds pretty good.
I don't know. It depends on my meal. I'm definitely interested in the biscuits and the gravy and the sourdough hotcakes. Also, what the chuck wagon breakfast might entail.
Out
Wild
of
weather.
context, this is a great segment.
Well, and like, I mean,
A
if I sold at
post-apocalyptic.
today's dollars, I could try all of those for
If
two
only we
dollars
had the
and
budget
thirty cents
to
to
start a
Yep.
add a
restaurant.
international special blend coffee for a nickel,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
ice cream soda for 30 cents. This is
It was a
Pre-tariff
different
prices.
world.
Established 1945. I forget when do we have a date on the stories in 62? Okay. So 17
62, yeah.
years after the restaurant opened,
That's right.
or at least the letter from the joint chairman of the Joint Chiefs is from 62. Now, did you do your homework? Is that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs? Do I need to look it up?
We made up
Or
this Joint
you
Chiefs.
made it?
We
But
research food, and that's where it stops.
yeah. So yeah, you can only this is in my opinion, in my view, this is the that Texas Blood universe. So it's not
Right.
the same people that inhabit the real world and the
Yeah, no, it was
Texas
General
Blood image
Maxwell
universe.
Taylor.
So
Um,
but yeah, it was so much fun to design all that stuff with Mike. I mean, Mike did all the heavy lifting on it. I just kind of threw ideas out and yeah, so much fun.
It is.
so well, I guess it was Lyman Lemnitzer. That would have been a good name to put down until September, and then Maxwell Taylor starting in October. So, I mean, if you'd done your homework, you still would have had a cool name. Lyman
Still have time.
Lemnitzer. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dana Q. Rankin is not bad. Not bad. But Lyman Lemnitzer, who was born in 1899. I don't know why I'm doing this research. Chris is sitting there going, this is normal for him. I am sorry, guys.
Yeah, I
um,
the using real people, then you have to do research. Whereas when I make them up, I just make stuff up, and then I don't have to worry about what's happening in the real world.
You're talking
I
about
could just
hours
say
of research versus seconds of
of being that would be
slapping a name
cool.
but we
together.
know how you write. So wouldn't it really be seconds of research versus hours of deciding what the
No,
proper middle initial is?
no, no, because then I also would have to find out what his signature looked like. There's all sorts of things that I would have to find out. Whereas this, I can just make it up. I could just sit there and go, that looks pretty real, and walk away from it.
We did spend a
Um,
lot of time researching food, though. I need that to be abundantly clear.
we did,
We
we
did
did.
spend those hours looking
We
at
we we
menus.
spent a stupid amount of time on the menu.
Yeah.
Stupid amount of time on the menu,
But
but
it's
But
fine.
but
But
didn't
hey,
figure
I
you
out
can
mean,
call
why.
an order. You can call an order ahead. So there is
that's
that.
true.
Can
But
you? Is
Hmm.
there a number to call?
there's a not on the PDF that you have, but in the
Oh.
actual book there will be a phone number.
Uh-oh. So how much does it cost to set up all these extra phone lines? Did you find
Those
Free.
are those are free.
Hmm.
Wow.
Um, the website costs a little bit of money, but that's
Right.
is what it is. Um, but yeah, that's it's all part of the game. You got to put money in
Yeah.
to make the no money.
No, I'm not
Spend
saying that
money
you
to spend
shouldn't
money.
be spending the money. I'm just loving the idea that you're setting up working phone numbers.
Yeah.
Because we would have, if we were in the position of buying, I would have bought this book. Like if this was the other way around, I would have purchased this book. And if I found out that all those numbers were real, or like you can go on a website, which is on the back of the book, but it's scratched out the URL, so you can't really make out what the URL is.
Oh, that's
I
great.
would I would lose it. I would love it. I would call Chris, as a matter of fact, to tell him about it.
Yeah, I think that's at the end of the day, like I said, the website costs money, et cetera, et cetera. Like some of this stuff does cost money, but at the end of the day, I'd be doing it anyway. Like this is
Right.
just fun, like Jeff
No,
was
I
saying
mean,
before.
this
So it's like,
podcast cost me money. I've yet to turn anything resembling a profit on it, so I get that. You're spending it for the entertainment value.
yes,
Um,
exactly. So,
I'm just always
and I wouldn't have it any
always
other way.
loving the depths and Jeff, you have the weirdest look on your face right now. Or how involved with the website are you, and how much do you hear about it and go, you guys are insane?
I'm not involved at all, but I'm really regretful because I wish I lived close enough to go hang out and be a part of it because I'm uh, approaching 50 and have little kids, and I miss the days of just hanging out, drinking a couple of beers, and coming up with cool stuff, and having a good time. My good times are from 8 to 3.
Well, you know, your kids will eventually go off to college and you can have those good times again.
Oh, sure. No, they're
And then
wonderful.
from personal experience, grandkids rock. All
Oh,
the fun
great.
parts, and then you hand them back.
Well, my oldest son today finished his first book. He filled up an entire composition notebook that tells the story of a tournament of dinosaur battles. And it's hundreds
Nice.
of dinosaurs, and he writes stories about every single battle, and he draws every battle. And I was so proud of him for that. Like it is
That's
so cool.
awesome.
And this morning I came out and he was reading it to his little brother because he was so excited that he had finished this book about dinosaur battles. And that's great. Like I'm not trying to pressure him to be a writer or an artist, but man, my heart grew 10 sizes.
No, that sounds amazing. I want to hear about dinosaur battles now.
Stay tuned for issue 5.
Maybe just kickstart it. Say, hey, son, we're going to get you started early. You did all the work.
Yeah.
I really want to do a dinosaur book that just has no dialogue whatsoever. It's
It's fun.
just dinosaurs.
Now,
Sort of
would you
like
do the
there's
research and make certain that it was dinosaurs from the right eras? Or would you
yeah, of
just
course.
go,
Well, that
I
my
don't
biggest
care if these
inspiration.
dinosaurs were on Earth billions of years apart. I want to see them fight.
No, I mean my biggest inspiration for it would be the Phil Tippett stop motion short Prehistoric Beast, which is a silent story of just dinosaurs being alive, which I think is really fun. But he only had, what was it, 10 minutes or something like that, and
Yeah.
we could do 6 issues of that. So that sounds like a lot of fun to me.
There won't be a menu in that one though, so.
Well, there might be.
Well, I mean, you
Dino Man.
could.
The Flintstones. It's actually the end
I
of the
was about to
comic, and it's the
say.
Flintstones.
That's the last panel of the last issue.
Yeah.
It's revealed that it's
We
just the
slowly
Flintstones
zoom
universe.
out. We slowly zoom out and we see feet running with
Right.
propelling a car forward.
So, um, I don't think I've asked this of a creative team of their book before, and it's such an obvious question that I don't know why. What part of the concept, the story, the production, whatever, what part of the book are you enjoying the most? It's the broadest question in the world
Um,
for a reason, because
I
like,
guess I will go first and just say that I enjoy seeing Jeff's pages when they come in. I think that's the part that I enjoy the most. Although when I'm writing, a lot of times I'll think, what would be cool to see Jeff do? And and then I will write something that's interesting, and then I'll get the page and I'll go, wow, that is really cool. So it's really fun.
I think for myself, I'm just enjoying like becoming Chris's friend. Like that's been the coolest part of this
he's a
process for
pretty
me is
cool guy. I'm
yeah,
just
like
saying.
this is just really fun because working as an artist uh is lonely. I mean, I'm here, I spend most of my time, I spend 80% of my day in a room making art and writing, and it can be incredibly lonely. And I was lucky to have a shared studio for a long time with a lot of great artists, and I miss that experience. So it's been really cool to have that. And I also am getting a master class on writing comics because I got to see the initial pitch. I got to see the breakdown that we did for film TV. I got to see, sort of the overall thing, but then seeing Chris actually write the issues and seeing how he's taken these characters in this situation and humanized them in a way is really educational for me. So I think it's two things. It's that, like just the camaraderie of it is really great for me personally, and it's really educational for me to get to see someone at the top of their game writing really great stories and to see the process. That's been wonderful for me.
I would I mean, have to second, everything Jeff is saying. I mean, Chris and I have been friends since 94 or so. He was the best man at my wedding. We did this ever since we were kids, just drawing superheroes and dressing up as
I was
superheroes
about to say
and
94. Doesn't that put you in like elementary school?
preschool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I was born in 91. Mike was born in
Yeah.
90.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you
I was,
know,
I know,
I know Chris is a baby, and I was assuming Michael was a baby.
yeah.
Not
Yeah. I
by
mean,
choice. No.
but just being able to like hang out with Chris and step into his world, because I don't come from the comic world. I do design work for professional wrestling and for bands and for race car teams, like formula race teams. And I'm a marketing director. So, the comic scape has been one that I've been wanting to venture into, but it's, having A, the time and B, the opportunity. I wasn't worried about being able to actually do it if I was given the chance. But now that, Chris, invited me into his space and his world, it's been an eye-opening experience. And everybody online, the reception's been awesome. And it's not as easy in the wrestling world. Obviously, two different types of entertainment, but everyone's been very welcoming, and being able to work alongside people like Jeff is just ridiculous. Because, I mean, Jeff, so yeah, we have not met before or spoken, but I was a fan without even knowing who you like. I know your work, but I didn't know who you were. And when I put two and two together, I texted several of our friends, like Zambri. I texted Chris. I was like, "You'll never believe who I'm working with." And he was like, shut up. What?"
I think
So,
specifically the one
yeah,
that Mike threw at me was the Lighthouse
yeah,
one.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
the
that was a cool
Lighthouse
job.
cover was
yeah. I have a
good.
lighthouse tattoo. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So it's been surreal, and we did a signing at a comic shop, and that was super cool. And yeah,
Mhm.
I hope to do more of this, and I feel like because I'm doing back matter, and that's in comics, but I think the way we're doing it, and I would like to think the way I do it, it just feels more authentic to the world instead of just an in-house person slapping text over just like a grainy background or like
Yeah.
just like a Google image piece of like construction paper or something. I
I
don't know.
mean,
So
I will defend a lot of the comics world as very OCD. So I will guarantee that you're not the first to go way too authentic to the world with your back
yeah,
matter,
yeah,
but it's always appreciated, and that's
for
one of
sure.
the reasons why people wind up doing it.
Yeah.
Um, whether it's like essays or pinups or uh, emephora that's tied to the universe. Um,
Yeah. Without getting to specifics, there was an instance where Chris showed me something and we were just like, but man, if we did that,
right.
and I feel like this is that opportunity,
Yeah.
So, I just appreciate Chris for a multitude of reasons, but it's just yet another one to add to the
Chris, your
list.
head's not going to fit through the door.
It doesn't.
I'm just saying. I mean, first they start calling you a rising star, and then they call you what, the hot writer, I mean, I've just watched you with so many epigrams before you and all of your press. I remember when you were the guy working with Sean Phillips' kid.
Which I still am.
I
But
know.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I just don't really believe it. So
Yeah.
that's part of it.
I mean,
Um,
like we haven't had an opportunity to talk in a while, but like, if they hadn't already made your heads big, I probably wouldn't have gone this way because I don't like to single out a member of the team. But like, you have had a relatively meteoric rise as a writer in comics. 5 years ago, you were the guy writing for Sean Phillips' kid. And like it was assumed that that was why the gig was there. And you very quickly put that to the side because that Texas Blood, the art was amazing, but so was the writing. So like really, really quickly, it was like, oh, so this isn't just a nepotism thing. These people are good. um, but like in the time since then, you've written for like almost every publisher, and you're on freaking Wolverine and Green Arrow simultaneously right now. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little
I mean,
crazy.
I
I
know
try
it's a
not to think
lot
about
busier right now because I don't get to talk to you as much. Um, but what's that ride like to go
it.
from looking to
Uh,
find work to do I actually have too much work?
well, to be perfectly honest, I kind of put myself in a position where I needed to find the work. I quit my day job in October of 2023, and I kind of forced myself into being a writer full time. And I knew that I wasn't doing another that Texas Blood for a while. So I knew that I was going to be taking on gigs and just started asking around for things and I had night people set up already. I knew I was doing that and that was going to see me through to I think March of that year and then I was lucky to get Far Down Below at Mad Cave, and so those kind of kept me afloat. But there was a couple months there where it was kind of rough, and I was like, did I make the biggest mistake of my life? And then things just started to roll in, and then there was the Daredevil gig, and then there was the Judge Dredd gig, and then it just slowly started to snowball until randomly I got an email about Green Arrow, and then like a month later got an email about Wolverine. Um, both of which I was just floored by. I called Mike when I got Green Arrow and just told him, I was I went for a walk around the block because I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, I never thought I'd be doing like an ongoing at DC or Marvel, and let alone Wolverine's 12 issues, but but two. So it's really wild. I try to keep it all in perspective, and I mean I'm constantly surrounded by comics, and I literally have like Black Panther right here. Like I'm just like I'm constantly surrounded by comics because I want to never forget why I do this and why I love doing it, and I want to have fun doing it. And I just always, I'm never thinking about like, worrying about what anybody else wants me to do. I'm just trying to do what I think is cool. And yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I never really thought it would go this way. I always thought that I was pretty good at this stuff. Um, and I've just been really fortunate to find the right route, I guess. It's hard for some people out there, to find work, let alone to get success in that work. And I was really fortunate that my stuff found the right audience. I mean, that's how I got the Green Arrow gig, and it's how I got the Wolverine gig, was that they liked my stuff. I didn't reach out to Marvel or DC to write those. They found me. So I don't know. It's very odd. It's very odd to be traveling the world now and going to cons and stuff, and like people know me and know my work, and I don't have to pitch them on it, which is very odd. But it's nice. So I'll say that.
I think good work finds its way. And I think also having moments where you burn your bridges or you give yourself no way back are the moments where those things can happen. And for myself, I didn't get my first professional paying job until I was 33. And I didn't start making a living at it until I was 35. But once it happened big. And the reason it happened that way is that I thought I had cancer and I thought I was going to die. And so I took a month to make the portfolio that I wanted to leave as my last, like sort of legacy on earth. That if I'm going to die, this is the artwork I wish I was making. And then when I did not have cancer, I had all this awesome work, and that was what people were responding to. And so I think that good the moral for anyone who's hoping to have a career in comics or in any sort of creative thing is that you have to find a way to have your unique voice in your work. You can't do what you think the market wants. You need to like find what's in you, what you hope to make, what you think should be your last, gift to the world, and then make it. And people, it's so easy now, compared, especially even for when I started 15 years ago. It's so easy for people to see your work now, and people will see it, and people are seeking it out. They
Yeah.
want cool stuff, and these businesses' job is to find it. And so if it's out there, they'll find you. So your job is not to like hunt these people down. Your job is to make cool stuff. So that's a great story. And I think for most people I know that make a living at this, that's what they did. They made stuff that was important and unique to them, and the work found them.
That segues perfectly. And at about the right time for me to still get Chris out of here in time to finish writing whatever he's writing tonight. Um, to my standard final question, um, which is tell me something you love, preferably a comic, but we don't really have rules. Preferably storytelling, but again, with the rules things. And like also with the rules things, it doesn't have to be one thing. If you're having trouble deciding between things, give them all to me. Something that you love that not enough people around you have experienced and you need them to because you really need more people to talk about it with.
I'll let Jeff go first because I need to think.
Okay. Well, the first thing that popped into my mind is Gene Wolfe, who's a science fiction fantasy writer, wrote a series of books called the Book of the New Sun. And every time I read a Gene Wolfe book, it's almost like your brain is sort of like on this track and it's doing this thing. And then I read one of his books and it's like my brain starts doing something different and it just goes in a different way. And his books, I was a D&D kid. I loved Dungeons and
Okay.
Dragons and Dragonlance, all that stuff. But I then went to college and was like, oh, I'm Cormac McCarthy and, James Joyce and, leave those childish things behind. But then after college, I went to a bookstore and I saw a Gene Wolfe book. I love the cover by Don Mates. And I started reading it. And it was Ursula Le Guin, I think, said that Gene Wolfe is the Herman Melville of modern America. And his
He
books,
he lived in Barrington, Illinois,
yeah, his
like
books are
like
so good.
like 25 minutes south of me.
They're so good. And so anyone who has not read Gene Wolfe, check him out because he is an experience like no other writer that I've ever read.
Well, I think Chris is still thinking.
It
So,
just went on my list.
so I admittedly don't read nearly as many comics or books as the others
Yeah,
here,
you
but
can
also
cheat.
like
You
in
can do
my
movies. You
oh
can
no,
do
no, no, no,
music.
I'm going in on it. But
Okay.
um honestly, we were at the comic shop one day and they had a Spawn collection and I was like, I've made fun of it my whole life, like Spawn, the comic series, right? And the movie and everything around it. And it was cheap enough that I was like, you know what? It's been selling fairly well for this long. Like maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem. And I read the first few volumes and like honestly, I was hooked. I see it as the professional wrestling of the comic book world.
Yeah,
It's
I can see
bright,
that.
it's bright, it's flashy, it's way over the top, like just unnecessarily over the top. But there's something in there that just like it was like a popcorn movie for me. I didn't have to think too hard. Um, but I mean that in like a good way. I
Yeah.
just enjoyed it for just the action that was presented in front of me. It's nothing deep. that's for sure. But it's just something that I enjoyed, and
You
I'll
know, I
defend it.
mean,
I will
yeah, no,
defend
no,
Spawn.
I'm gonna like because I have similar feelings about Spawn that you had before you picked it up, and I
Hmm.
have picked it up here and there, and there are parts that I like. But like I've been reading it. Erica Schultz is doing a Spawn Universe title right now that's been fantastic. Joe
Hmm.
Illage is about to be. Bendis made his bones doing Salmon Twitch, you
Right.
know. So what I know is there's something in that universe that like inspires good stuff, and at some point I need to go give it a more thorough read to find the good stuff because like for me it was like the first 10 issues were great and then it felt repetitive and I was done by about 30.
Hmm.
But you're right, it's still around all of these years later, um, and still spawning. I mean, really spawning more offshoots now than it has in years.
Yeah, it feels like
Um,
there's some sort of resurgence, I feel like in the past
right.
couple years. But yeah, I mean
So,
that's just
so,
my
so
little
you
escape is
you
this.
may have inspired me to add Spawn to my massive reading list.
There's other things to read for sure, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, that was just, and the other thing too is like I like collecting single issues, and the fact that
Right.
I actually ended up enjoying the trades. The
Yeah.
single issues are nothing, it's like $1,
Right.
$2, so
Right.
that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All
Um,
right, Chris, you're on the spot now.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with my tried and true answer. The work of Darwin Cook. I think that in this day and age, he's unfortunately not talked about nearly enough, I don't think.
I
He
mean,
died too
his
young.
the connoisseur edition of his run on the Spirit is Final Order
Yes.
cutoff on
Well, that's
next
unfortunately not
Monday.
talked about enough. It was a
So
fantastic series.
I've talked about it some, and I'm talking about it again for anybody
Yeah,
listening, particularly
I
because
picked
it
that
comes
series
out
up
in
as it
like
was coming out.
October, so just in time for my wedding anniversary. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, I mean I picked that up when it was coming out and it was so exciting to
Yeah.
see somebody doing something really interesting with comics. Um and what he did and how he did it was always different. He always approached things in uniquely. Each book was in service of the story that he was telling, and the way that he told something like New Frontier was nowhere near like how he told something like Parker. And then same thing with The Spirit. He had a different way for doing each sort of book, and that's something I bring into everything that I do. I don't want everything to feel the same. I want each thing to feel unique, different. Um, and that's something that I hope is
Well, and what you just inspired, I have had it downloaded on my iPad for a while now because I've been meaning to read it because the first time I read it, I didn't have nearly as deep of a connection with either of the creators. Have you ever read um see, I have to go find it because I can't even remember the name off the top of my head. The Twilight Children.
yes.
Yeah.
That was coming out, I believe, when he died.
Was
Uh,
it?
or it had just finished and then he died. He didn't write that one, but he did do the
No, no,
artwork.
no.
The artwork's fantastic.
But Gilbert Hernandez wrote that one.
Yeah.
So it's like two of my biggest heavyweights collaborated, and it's like I need to look at this and look at it until I unlock its brilliance because I'm certain that it's there.
I gotta reread those. I haven't read those since they came out, but yeah, I mean, he
Yeah.
was just somebody who inspired me. Um, I just would sit down and draw,
Okay.
panels from New Frontier or panels from Parker, and
But but I'm also going to be mean here because you're right. It's your tried and true, and you've been on this show numerous times. So you've said Darwin Cook is your answer
probably
to
have.
this question multiple times already, and we're on the Parker Roundtable. So I need another. You can't get away with just one.
Well, Jeff said Gene Wolfe. I'll say Ursula Le Guin. I think that The Left-Handed Darkness is one of the greatest novels of all time. And I actually wasn't enjoying it for the first like 200 pages. I actually was like, what, why do I care about the interstellar politics of this world that, doesn't, why am I like, what do I care? Like it was all just like bureaucratic BS and I'm just reading and reading and reading. And then all of a sudden something clicks and you get it. And it was such a brilliant thing that she did. And I just immediately became a fan right then and there. Um, and also, I was told a great story about her by Mike Gold, the Green Arrow editor, and yeah. So he said that he was in an elevator with I forgetting all the comic creators, but it's like all like the classic comic creators, and the elevator door is open, and Ursula Gwynn walks in, and she goes, J.R.R. Tolkien just died. It's like, could you imagine that news being delivered by Ursula Le Guin? But yeah, I would say her. There's a passage at the end of Left-Handed Darkness specifically that I literally just took a picture of and read it occasionally, because it was so um, just brilliant. It was just the wordplay she used. It just evoked something that was larger than the page. It was something that there's a lot of writers that have that talent and have that effect on me, but she's one that's coming to mind right now.
Have you, and I haven't yet, but it's high on my list. Did you see that a Wizard of Earthsea was
Yeah,
recently adapted to graphic novel? Have
yeah.
you
I haven't read the graphic novel yet, but that series is great. And
okay.
unfortunately, the Harry Potter series, which was inspired by the Wizard of Earthsea series, is much more popular than the Wizard of Earthsea series. But
There's a
Well, I mean that the author's trying very, very hard to change that.
well, we can hope. We live in an unfair world. Donald Trump is president. We gotta.
It is true.
there's
It
a
is
writer,
true.
Michael Swanwick, who's a great science fiction writer as well. And he talking to him, he said that he was part of the last generation that could read every science fiction fantasy book that came out in a year. And I think that that's something that's lost in the current day is that there was a generation where up until like probably mid 80s, you could read every book in your genre that came out in a year. So you could be up to date on everything that was happening. And if you imagine, I mean, you're talking about your to be read thing. I have a guest room
Yeah,
with 2,000 books in it. That's
right.
my to be read room, you know,
Right. No, I
and
understand.
it's like we just cannot keep up with everything that is coming out,
And like
and you have to pick and
uh,
choose.
on
It's
one side, that's wonderful because it means that everybody can find what they love and more people can possibly make some sort of living creatively. At another side, I agree, whether it's with not being able to read everything in your genre or whatever, the lack of shared experience, I think, contributes greatly to societal fracture.
it at one time it was a conversation.
Right,
Now it's just screaming at each other. You know,
right.
at one time people were talking to each other back and forth through their books, and now
Or at the
we're
very
just trying to
least,
get everybody's attention. Please look at my
even if
book.
there were certain things that they screamed about at each other, there were also things that they talked about
Yeah.
because, you know, when there were three TV stations, like everybody had seen Gunsmoke this week. You know, everybody had seen the Flintstones last night, or, whatever. Whereas we so rarely have anything near that level of cultural phenomena on a percentage
Well, it's like
basis.
memes. I feel like memes
Right.
are the only thing we have like that now, where everyone
Yeah,
is
but
like,
they
"Yeah, I
still
know
don't
that
have
one."
that. but they still
and like
don't
that's like
actually
the
have
lowest
that
common
level
denominator
of
of entertainment. It's like,
right.
and it's,
And
makes you
part of
want
that is like, I think we always forget that like we crossed what the 5 billion mark in the 1930s. So we've got 60% more people than we did when television started.
to.
You know, so some of it's just more people means you're gonna wind up with more stuff. But yeah, that's a whole different, really nerdy, geeky conversation that I'd love to have on this show sometime, but I don't know that you guys A want to be a part of it, and B want to be a part of it tonight. So I'm going to say, Michael, Jeffrey, it was wonderful to meet you. Hopefully we will talk again. Chris, as always, it was fantastic. We gotta find more reasons to. I still wish that we'd actually. The only thing I don't like about you getting so busy is one of my favorite 22 panels memories is still the morning where we texted and decided relatively on the spot to read an issue of Daredevil together on the air.
Yeah, that was a weird issue too. It was this
It
Steve
was.
Ditko drawn issue in which babies were blowing up. Isn't that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah.
It
There were
was like
bombs
somebody was
shaped like
leaving
babies.
babies. Yeah, somebody was leaving babies in like public areas and then they were blowing up.
Right.
As a father,
Really
that
weird.
rings true.
Yeah. So,
It was really strange. It was
it was
fun.
fun. It had some great images. And like you could tell that
Yeah,
they
like babies
worked
blowing up.
well.
What?
I don't think we ever saw the babies blow up.
I
We
probably
saw
not. I remember maybe
explosions
there was like he put it in
of
like a
paper
mailbox or
bags that there
something.
was an implication that there had been a baby put into.
Yes, yes. Well, I guess a Marvel comic has its limits.
Right. I remember us talking a lot about like we were certain that it was done Marvel style because there were so many places that you could tell that Ann Nesenti was just desperately trying to save the insanity.
Yeah, that was it was strange because it, Daredevil is a character that has some of the greatest comics of all time and, you know,
Right.
uh, written by Frank Miller,
Mhm.
um I mean, and Ascenti. There's so many great
Right.
runs. And then you
Danny
read something like
O'Neill,
that and you're like,
Bendis,
oh,
Brubaker. Right.
he can also be the strangest
Right.
character that I've ever read in my life. It just depends on who's doing
Well,
the,
and of course, we'd only picked it out because it was Ann Nesenti and Steve Ditko.
yeah, which
Like,
sounds
hey,
wow,
let's see what this
this could
looks
be
like.
really
It's like,
interesting.
oh, this is. Anne didn't even remember writing it. She's like,
Oh,
I worked with Steve a few times. He was a sweet, sweet man.
yeah. Well, I can't say I blame, or maybe she blocked it out. I don't know.
Oh no. So doors always open for more of that. We should find like short stories so we can do them faster.
Yeah.
um, thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you.
22 panels. This has been the uh news from the Fallout team. Issue 1 is in stores. See, I should have looked that up a
June
long time
June
25th.
ago.
25th.
There you go. Issue 1 is in stores June 25th. Order it today from your local comic shop. Check out newsfromthefallout.com, which is just a crazy, trippy website. And the one hint I will say is every once in a while, you should try to highlight things. For
True.
22 panels, this has been the News from the Fallout team, and we will see you after the next page.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22 Panels Podcast.